We have another student of Torch, Melissa Schepps.
Yes.
And I'm so delighted that you came on. If you would just sort of tell how you came into contact with Torch and what that relationship has looked like with the rabbis.
Okay. Can we start like way back?
Yeah, let's go back. Let's go all the way back to the beginning.
So I'm a native Houstonian, and I've grown up in Houston, and I grew up in a family where religion was important, but it was more like eating and, going to the high holidays. So I wasn't very religious.
Right.
But I enjoyed, the family and eating. And going to Israel was really exciting. When I was 12 years old, I went. And then again, when I was 17, and I wanted to stay there. But my grandmother said, no, you cannot stay there. So move forward now. And life changes happen. And I was doing Jewish meditation at Beth Yeshurun. I came around to that. And then I went to Arizona to have lunch with we were having lunch in Arizona, my sister and I, and one of her friends came and she says, oh, you should try Musar. I'm like, well, I don't know what Musar is. Yeah. So I come to Houston, I'm like asking about Musar, and I find out Rabbi Wobley is teaching a class in Musar. So I was like, okay. So I got up the courage. I went to his class.
Did you know what it was before going?
No, not at all.
You just know you had to do it, and it had a cool sounding name to it.
Yes.
Me too.
So that opened the door to Torch. And then I met Rabbi Cohen, and ever since then, I was like, wanted more and more. And I realized that Judaism had such a bigger place in my life and my heart and spiritually. And then I started going to synagogue, walking to Beth Yeshurun on Friday nights. I became a regular on Friday nights there, and also at Shula Bel Air on Saturdays. I would go there, and a whole new life opened up.
That's so amazing.
From Torch.
Yeah. So yeah, many of us growing up thinking the only mitzvah is to enjoy like latkes at Hanukkah and the food.
Yes.
But we all get to that point where we're yearning for something more that we were sort of starved from a lot in this current day and age. So you started studying Musar, and now you also learned with Rabbi Cohen.
With Rabbi Cohen, we learned the Tanya.
Okay.
And then I started learning Tanya with Esty at Shula Bel Air. And I also learned Garden of Emunah with Rabbi Cohen. And then he just keeps introducing us to books after books. So my library is huge now. And I took, when Rabbi Hilly was here, I learned Hebrew with him. And then I started finding my own Hebrew to learn on my own. Something called Hebrew.net or something. And I taught myself Hebrew so
Amazing.
I could, really learn a lot. And it's just opened so many doors for my life.
And you study a lot of subjects like the Garden of Emunah and this whole concept, how has that changed your life as you started learning from Rabbi Cohen about what Emunah is and how that guides our life, and that overall sense of, God's directing everything. It's all for the good.
Yes. Look how I found myself here. just going to Arizona to have lunch with somebody, and it opened a door. So every step of the way, it seems like something just finds you. or it finds me, or the spirituality is just, it's all there laid out. And, you just grasp it, I think, as you go along.
Have you found that since you started learning Torah and understanding these, the wisdom behind it, and the sense of, God and that closeness, and that He's guiding everything, have you noticed a change in your life and when problems come up, because they always do, and how you go about perceiving them and addressing them?
Well, I always tell myself everybody's doing the best that they can. And I also, I think that there's just joy. There's always joy. And I think that's what I really learned from the Garden of Emunah, that we can always find pleasure in everything. And I don't know. I just have a lot of emotions right now. Sorry.
Yeah, that's amazing. And that's why I wanted you on here, because I know you've had a long and deep relationship with the Torch organization and the rabbis. And these are the stories I really wanted shared to everyone listening, is that, again, another story of someone being impacted.
Tanya is amazing too. Have you ever studied Tanya?
Yes.
Yes.
And I think what you've laid out too is the variety of Torah and concepts and texts that are offered here.
And I wouldn't call myself a scholar by any means. I'm pretty, low man on the totem pole, but learning like the Kabbalah bites and some of the Torahs, I mean, just every piece of it, you find something exciting in it and something new. And just crossing our lives today with what's in the Torah is really beautiful, because I was never able to grasp that growing up. I wasn't exposed to it. So I even try to keep kosher at home now. So that's another new thing in my life.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And you're walking to
I walk to Friday and Friday nights. It's lovely. And my boys will go with me when they can.
Amazing.
Yes.
So, for one, I think about like, there's these like lofty concepts, no matter whether it's Rabbi Cohen teaching something from Kabbalah or Rabbi Yochel Holby teaching something from Talmud or Musar or the Parshas, whatever it is, they all have that great ability, do they not? Just to take those complex concepts and break it down. So those of us who didn't grow up learning this, we're not Torah scholars. We didn't spend 8 years in a yeshiva. Like, they teach in a way we can all get it.
Yes. And the Baal Shem Tov is another one of Rabbi Cohen's big topics. He's always talking about the Baal Shem Tov, and I think that's fascinating.
Yeah, and then he's doing that one now, the Baal Shem Tov on the Parsha.
Yes.
Yeah, so we're trying to, and we're going to be getting all those up and sort of to get him on into the podcast world as well, because he's has so much amazing content and wisdom. And you've seen it go from being just an intellectual, learning things, to changing who you are, right?
Yes, my walk. I walk my dog every day, and every day on my walk, I think about how lucky and happy and fulfilled I feel.
Right. That's amazing.
I'm living my full potential.
We were talking earlier, me and Rabbi Ari Wolbe were talking about the blessings. I don't know if you saw when you walked in, but we have all this prayer art that was one of my initiatives. And it was like, if you really want to get down the bottom of what Judaism is about, it's how to, it's about happiness and joy.
Yes.
And really all that is just a change in perspective.
Connection to people, a relationship with people, relationship with yourself.
Yeah.
I think you find all of that. And I think Judaism is kind of the base of all that, because it teaches you how to be happy and how to find joy.
Right.
And all of these things around you. And
like every holiday, I was thinking about like Purim, we're like commanded. We're commanded to be always joyful.
Yes.
But like at Purim, we're supposed to like ratchet up a bit. And there we learn the formula for the joy, which is we're stuck in the secular world of, if only I had this, if only I had that, if this problem was gone, then I would be so happy and joyful. And then Purim teaches like, no. What the way to be joyful is you bring joy to other people. Then you become joyful.
Yes.
So I've shared that with some colleagues that are non-Jewish, and they're like, because they're like, what did you do? I was like, sort of drank all day. But I was like, but here's the lesson that you'll appreciate, that you can take with you and teach your kids. Mm-hmm. And they're like, that is cool, because that's true. Yeah. I'm so glad you came out here to share the stories. Anyone, as we're approaching that $500,000 mark, again, go to givetorch.com. Every donation is multiplied times 3. Is there anything else you can think of to share that would encourage people to support this organization? Not only support it financially, but also, if you are looking for Torah learning, if you know someone out there that has never been exposed to Torah learning, to get them in contact with us. You've heard about for the last 2 days, all the mediums, about the one-on-one studying, the rabbis. A lot of people have said, well, I didn't want to email them. They're probably really busy. And they're like, no, we will email us, reach out to us. Next thing you know, you'll get a phone call and you'll be invited over to a Shabbos dinner. Yes. This is what they're all about. This is what they're passionate about.
And it'll open your doors. I mean, I've been to people's houses that I've never been to before to have a Shabbat dinner. I've read books I've never thought I was going to read. I find enjoyment in listening to the sermons. I've been to Rambam for a class or 2. I've been around everywhere. I used to drive to Sugar Land on Thursday nights for Rabbi Cohen's class.
Oh, that's amazing. And the other thing you mentioned, you should start picking up some mitzvot like that, driving on Shabbos, trying to keep kosher. But it's never been my experience was it was never like, you have to start doing this.
You want to.
You just want to
because you find more joy in the more things you
yeah,
seem to do.
Yeah. And then it's just like that next step, that next mitzvah, you start to look forward to it.
Yeah. And I think people gravitate towards you when you have so much joy in your life too. They want to know what changed.
Right.
What are you doing now? But come to a class. It's not scary. Just come to a class, enjoy it. You don't know what's going to happen.
That's wonderful. Well, I appreciate you coming on.
Okay, thank you.
If that was a great story to tell and showcase the value of this organization.